Hello and welcome, kids, once again to your science classes of grade 5th. As you know, we are doing our topic food and health, which is the second chapter of our science course book, and this is the part 4 of the video. So, in previous videos, we have already discussed about food and health. What is the importance of food? Why do we need food? That we get food from both plants and animals. What are the components of food? That food contains certain substances called nutrients, carbohydrates, sources of carbohydrate, fats gives more energy than carbohydrates, sources of fats, butter, milk, and sources of carbohydrates include corn, potato, rice, etc. Proteins, they are called bodybuilding food, milk, meat, egg, pulses, soya beans. And vitamins and minerals, they are called protective food because they protect our body from diseases. All the green and fresh fruits and vegetables. Then water and roughage. Water helps to maintain the body temperature, helps in proper digestion of food and in the transport of nutrients in our body. And roughage is the fiber or undigested part of the plant food, and it helps in getting rid, in excreting out the waste from our body. And about the balanced diet, that is very important, that we should consume food rich in nutrients. Our daily diet containing all the nutrients in adequate means proper amounts required for the healthy functioning of our body is known as a balanced diet. And certain healthy habits like exercise, doing yoga, maintaining correct posture, taking proper rest and sleep. And also we have discussed about diseases, that a disease is an abnormal condition in which our body does not function properly. We feel weak, tired, inactive, very low. Two types of diseases are there: non-communicable and communicable diseases. Non-communicable diseases occurs due to lack of or deficiency of certain nutrients in any particular individual. That's why they are also called deficiency diseases. Lack of nutrients, or you can say vitamins and minerals, also causes deficiency diseases. Some deficiency diseases through their pictures also we have discussed, that was of scurvy related to gums and teeth, rickets related to bones, the bones become bow shaped, goiter in which there is swelling in the neck region due to the abnormal functioning or swelling of a gland in the neck region. Okay. um, then we have discussed this deficiency diseases tabular information, which was given in the tabular form, that what are the deficiency diseases, what are the causes of these deficiency diseases, what are their symptoms, and how we can cure, what are the food items which is rich in those particular kind of nutrients, which if we will eat we will not suffer. Chances are low that we will not suffer from these particular deficiency diseases. Yes, in part third of the video we have discussed about communicable diseases, which I have told you that the diseases that can spread from one person to another, they are called communicable diseases. Okay, communicable diseases, they are caused by germs, while non-communicable diseases, they are caused due to the deficiency or lack of any particular nutrient or vitamin and minerals in any particular individual, and they cannot spread from one person to another. But the communicable diseases, they can spread from one diseased person to a healthy person through germs. And four types of germs we have studied, that were bacteria, virus, protozoa, fungi. And what are the diseases which is caused by bacteria? They were plague, tuberculosis, typhoid, pneumonia, and cholera. And the disease caused by virus were common cold, polio, measles, chickenpox, flu, and AIDS. The disease caused due to protozoa, it is malaria, kala azar, and amoebic dysentery. Dysentery means loose motions plus vomiting. Fungi, the disease caused by fungi is infections of skin and athlete's foot. And then we have discussed symptoms and preventive measures of some communicable diseases also, that what symptoms will occur in our body if we will suffer from this particular communicable disease. Suppose if we are suffering from malaria, then we will have fever, constant shivering of the body will be there. Then we have, what we have to do to avoid it, to prevent it. So we should avoid stagnant water, standing water puddles around our houses. And Second disease was about tuberculosis. Symptoms were cough, fever, chill, weakness, weight loss, and the proper preventive measures will be vaccination, BCG vaccine. Okay. Conjunctivitis, there was redness of eye, tearing, discharge of pus. Never touch your eyes with what are the preventive measures? Never touch your eyes with dirty hands. Never share towels and handkerchiefs. Then the last one was typhoid. In this, person will suffer from headache, fever, upset stomach. Upset stomach again means loose motions and not feeling well, not digestion, indigestion of food, etc. So maintain proper sanitation habit, ensure safe drinking water and sanitary disposal of excreta. Excreta is the solid waste which we throw out or excrete out from our body. Okay. Now, in this portion of the video, we are going to discuss that how communicable diseases spread. What are the reasons? What are the mediums? What are the agents through which these communicable diseases spread from a diseased person, from an ill person to a healthy person? As you have already seen that these are the germs which causes this disease, but there are certain agents, certain mediums through which these germs can spread from a diseased person to a healthy person. So that we have to see today, that what are the mediums, how these communicable diseases can spread. Okay, so four reasons are there, four mediums could be there. First one is through air, we will discuss it in a little detail. Second is through direct contact. Third is through infected food and water. And fourth is through insects. Okay, so these are the four mediums, four agents which can spread these germs. These communicable germs, diseases could be spread through these four mediums. Okay, so the very first one, it is, yes, the first one, it is through air. So let's see how air helps, or how air is the causal agent of spreading of the disease. When a sick person coughs, sneezes, or spits, coughs, you know, the normal coughing, normal, when we don't have a clear thought, then we keep on coughing. So sick means ill person who is not well. So when a person who is not well, he coughs, sneezes. Sneeze, you know, in Hindi we call it छींक आना, sneezes, or spits. Spits, you know, कहीं पर भी, to throw out the whatever liquid waste comes in your mouth and you just throw it out anywhere. That is called spitting. So when a sick person coughs, sneezes, or spits, then germs are released into the air. Because he is already a sick person, he is already carrying those germs inside his body, and these germs could be present in the discharges which he throws out from his body, in the liquid discharges, either in the form of sneezing, coughing, or spitting, or urination, or excreta, any form. These germs are released out. Some of the germs are released out from his body, so that they could infect other healthy persons also. So that's what it is written, that when a sick person coughs, sneezes, or spits, these germs are released into the air. And when a healthy person breathes this air, and these germs, they just get mixed up with the air and they remain present in that kind of air where that particular sick person has sneezed or coughed or spitted. Okay, so now when a healthy person breathes this air, which air? The air which contain the germs released by the sick person through his coughing, sneezing, or spitting. So breathes this air, germs enter his or her body and make him sick also. Yes. So now you can see how the air spreads the diseases, that when a sick person coughs, sneezes, or spits, okay, in the open air, so the germs, they are just released from his body. They are just being released out from his body and they spread in that particular air where that person is sneezing, and they spread and they remain there. And when a healthy person comes in contact of such persons, or he just come there and breathes that particular air inside his body, then germs enter his body also and make him sick also. Okay. Therefore, we should always cover our nose and mouth with a handkerchief while sneezing or coughing. That's why your parents, your teachers, your elders, or even nowadays in the present scenario of this COVID-19 infection, everyone or the government, what circular is giving? They all are telling us that while sneezing, while coughing, we should cover our mouth and nose with a proper handkerchief or a tissue paper. If we are using tissues, then after the uses of that tissues, we should immediately dispose it in a covered dustbin. Because when we sneeze, when we cough, then certain liquid items or these germs which are present inside our body, they may come out from that coughing or sneezing, and they may come out and spread in the surrounding air of us. And when a healthy person will come and breathes that air, then he or she may also get infected. So that's why the use of handkerchief or tissue paper, that is very important, that you should cover your mouth and nose properly using a proper clean handkerchief or a tissue paper while coughing or sneezing. Okay. Diseases like common cold, flu, and tuberculosis spread through air. So these are some of the diseases which can very much spread through air, like common cold, flu, and tuberculosis. And you could recall that this common cold, flu is not written. Common cold. The causal agent of flu is also a virus. Virus are responsible for the flu also. Yes, it is written. Common cold, flu. Most of the viral disease, they can very fastly spread through air. That's why in the present scenario, so many precautions, social distancing, and so many preventive measures is being taken by the government, both at the central and the state level. And we, as a responsible citizen of our country, we should also follow the norms. Whatever is being directed or instructed to us, we should follow it strictly, so that we could remain healthy ourselves and we could keep others also healthy and safe. Okay, so this was the subtopic, that is how the communicable disease is spread through air. That when a sick person coughs or sneezes or spits, germs are released into the air, and when a healthy person breathes this air, germs enter his or her body and make him sick. So therefore, we should always cover our nose and mouth with a handkerchief while sneezing or coughing. It is very important, and I hope you all should, or you all will follow this particular statement, that you will always cover your nose and mouth with a handkerchief or a tissue while sneezing or coughing. Okay, let's see our second point. Second was through direct contact. So how it spreads through direct contact? When a healthy person comes in contact with a sick person, or his handkerchief, towel, clothes, etc., he can get infected by the germs. Diseases like measles, chickenpox, and ringworm spread through direct contact. Oh, so now this is through direct contact. Direct contact means if we are face to face meeting someone who is ill, who is already suffering from some disease, or if we are touching or by mistake we are using his personal belongings like his towels, his soap, or his handkerchief, his clothes, then the chances are very much there that we could also get infected. The healthy person who has by mistaken used that diseased person materials, personal belongings, then the chances are very much there that he or she may also get infected with that disease. Because when a person is sick or diseased and he is just in the process of recovering, even then, if he is using some of his personal belongings, like it is mentioned over here, his handkerchief, his towels, his clothes, then germs may be present in these attires, in these particular belongings, in this personal belongings. Chances are there that germs may be present in them. As you can see, some examples are written over here. Diseases like measles, chickenpox, ringworm spread. Measles is which in common language you call mata agi and all that, in which there is small spots on whole of our body. We can call it a small swelling types small swellings of the skin is and rashes and irritation in our body, weakness is there, fever is there. So that happens in measles. So we should always follow social distancing norms. We should maintain a proper distance. We should not come in contact with diseased persons, the persons who are suffering from measles, chickenpox, or ringworm, until and unless that particular diseased person fully recover himself or herself. He or she get well properly and completely. Till then, we should avoid coming in contact with such diseased or ill persons. Why? Because these germs, the germs of these particular disease, the germs of these particular disease, they can spread through direct contact also. If we will come in direct contact of such diseased persons, sick persons, or either to his direct contact or to the contact of his personal belongings like handkerchief, towel, clothes, etc., then the chances are very much there that we could also get infected, or the healthy person who is coming in direct contact, he or she could get infected. Okay, so two mediums we have seen now, through air and through direct contact, that how through air or through the direct contact these communicable, some of the communicable diseases, they can spread from a healthy person to a, sorry, from a sick person to a healthy person. Okay, what was the third one? Through infected food and water. Now let's see how the disease or these germs spread through infected food and water. Sometimes food and water may get infected with germs if they are not stored or handled properly. Flies and cockroaches can contaminate our food with germs. Yes, the very important thing for a living thing is to eat food and drink clean, safe water, because food gives us energy, food contains nutrients which protect us from diseases, it keeps us fit, active, healthy, well. Okay, so sometimes what happens, food and water, they may also get infected with germs if they are not stored or handled properly. Yes, suppose if you left your food items, whatever cooked food or vegetables, fruits, up in your kitchen or up in anywhere, and at night time, maybe the lizards or any other insect, mosquitoes, flies, or cockroaches, they may enter your food. They may touch it, and just chances are that they can make it infected and dirty. Okay, and not handled properly. Handled properly means if you are not cleaning up your hands properly, if you're not maintaining proper hygiene while cooking or while washing your raw fruits and vegetables or cereals, that is called handled properly. That's why it is suggested to you now that don't eat food items from the outside vendors, those who are not maintaining the cleanliness and hygiene properly. Okay, because their hands may be dirty, the nails may be dirty. So you should also take very good care that your nails should be properly trimmed. Your hands should be properly washed before you eat, before you touch any of the particular food items. Okay, so it will maintain proper health and proper hygiene of yours also, and of the food item also, because it is clearly written over here, sometimes food and water, they may also get infected with germs if they are not stored or handled properly. Flies and cockroaches can contaminate our food with germs. These flies, mosquitoes, and cockroaches, these are very much primary carriers of these kind of germs. Okay, these flies and these cockroaches, they can very much easily become the carrier of these kind of germs, and if they enter our food items, so they will release those germs in the food item also. The food item will also get infected. So diseases like cholera, typhoid, jaundice, and polio, they spread through infected food and water. Yes, these are some peculiar name of such diseases which spread through infected food and water. Okay, wherever the people they are not able to get clean food or clean and safe drinking water, chances are very much that they can suffer from these type of communicable diseases. Okay, where they don't cover their food items, they don't maintain proper cleanliness and hygiene around their kitchen corners or wherever they are storing their food items, or they are not handling the food items with clean hands, with proper gloves and all that. Okay, so we should be very much careful while handling our food items, and whatever water we are drinking, that should be cleaned enough, that should be safe drinking water. Okay, so this was the third point, third medium through which communicable disease spread, which we I have right now discussed with you. Now the fourth and the last one, it is through insects. Now let's see which insects help in spreading these communicable diseases. Now disease like, oh sorry, I have forgotten to explain you this picture. As you can see over here, this girl, she is sneezing, but she is using this handkerchief. Cover your mouth with a handkerchief while sneezing. Yes, and I know you all are very good students. You must be following all these norms which is being told to you. Even in your school also, the teachers during the morning time, they check your nails whether it is trimmed or not properly, whether you have brought handkerchief or not. So yes, you should maintain these good habits in your home also. While you are at home, you should maintain these good habits, that your nails should be trimmed properly. Okay, you wash your hands properly before and after meals, you use handkerchiefs, you don't touch or don't use other person's personal belongings, you should maintain a separate of yours. Okay, now let's see through insects. Diseases like malaria, dengue, plague and chikungunya, they spread through blood sucking insects like mosquitoes, bugs and flies. Yes, bugs are called khatmal. In Hindi, they are called khatmal. Okay, and flies, we all know these house flies. And mosquitoes, yes, nowadays there are so many mosquitoes in and around our locality, in our house. So you should be very much careful while protecting your body. You should wear full sleeves cotton clothes if you have, or you should use certain kind of mosquito repellents. Cream are also available in the market, so you should take these preventive measures so that you couldn't come in contact with the mosquitoes, bugs and flies, because they could be the carrier of the germs of the diseases like malaria, dengue, plague and chikungunya. Whatsoever diseases suck our blood, and these are the diseases who these are the insects like mosquitoes, bugs and flies. They suck blood. Suck blood means when they bite your, when any mosquito bite your skin, it sucks blood out from your body. So that's why they are called blood sucking insects. Okay, so yes, malaria is caused by a protozoan that is carried by the female Anopheles mosquito. Malaria is caused by a protozoan, as we have already seen when we were discussing protozoa, that this particular germ, this particular microorganism, it is the causal agent of it, malaria. The disease malaria, it is the disease malaria, it is caused by protozoa. And who carries these protozoa? In which insect's body these protozoans come, or they remain themselves? In which insect's body? So in these blood sucking insects bodies like mosquitoes, bugs and flies. Okay, so these protozoans, they choose these insects as their carriers. Okay, these protozoans, these microorganisms, they choose these insects as their carriers. They remain inside these insects body, and when these insects bites some healthy person, they release these protozoans, they leave these protozoans in that healthy person's body, and then these protozoans, they cause that healthy person to become sick. They cause them malaria, chikungunya and fever and all that. Okay, so what is the name of that particular mosquito? The name of that particular mosquito is female Anopheles mosquito. As you can see in this picture, how dangerous is this mosquito? This is the female Anopheles mosquito. Okay, see it from close. This is the female Anopheles mosquito, which is the carrier of the protozoan due to which the disease malaria is caused. Okay, so we should be very much careful with our body, that the mosquito, these bugs, they should not come in our body's contact, they should not bite us. We should take certain preventive measures which I have told you right now. When the mosquito bites someone with malaria, the germs are sucked up with the blood. When this mosquito bites a healthy person, the germs are injected into the healthy person's blood, causing malaria. Oh yes, when the mosquito bites someone with malaria, now someone is already suffering from malaria. So that's why these are called communicable disease now, because they can spread from a from a diseased person. Diseased person means a person who is already suffering from such a disease. And when he or she comes in direct contact, or through air, or through infected food and water, any could be the medium, okay, or through insects also, when a person is already suffering from malaria, okay, and this female Anopheles mosquito, if it bites that particular person, that diseased person, then it sucks up the blood from that person's body, okay. And now, if that particular Anopheles mosquito bites some healthy person, another healthy person, then it injects, it also sucks up blood from that healthy person's body. But during that process, it releases the malarial protozoan inside that healthy person's body's blood, which she was carrying from the diseased person. Okay, so that's what it is written over here. That understand it properly, that when the mosquito bites someone with malaria, that this mosquito it has already bitten someone who is suffering from malaria. The germs are sucked up with the blood, then malarial germs must be present in that diseased person's blood. Okay, the germs, they spread all over the body. They could be present in the blood also, they could be present in the discharges of the bodies also, like while coughing, while sneezing, while spitting, that I have already told you. Whatever liquid discharge or solid discharge comes out from the diseased person body, these germs could be present there also. So when the mosquito bites someone with malaria, the germs are sucked up with the blood. It has already sucked up the germs from his or her blood. Now, when this mosquito bites a healthy person, the germs are injected into the healthy person's blood. Now, when this particular mosquito, who is already carrying the germs of malaria from the diseased person, is now, if it will bite any healthy person, then it will inject down the germs of malaria into the healthy person's blood, and like that, that person will also be suffering from malaria now. The same process is done by the dengue, which is caused by the bite of Aedes mosquito. Okay, malaria is caused by the biting of female Anopheles mosquito. So these names of these particular mosquitoes, particular insects is very important, which you have to learn. Okay, and now dengue is spread by the bite of Aedes mosquito, and plague is spread by the bite of fleas carried by rats. Yes, plague plague is also the carrier agent of the disease. Plague is rats. It is caused by the bite of fleas. Fleas are certain kind of small insects which are carried by the rats, and these are the secondary spreading agents of this disease called plague. And dengue, it is spread by the bite of Aedes mosquito. So like this, in this paragraph, in this subtopic, we have seen how these small insects, but very much dangerous and harmful insects, they could be the causal agent, carrier agents of some of the life-threatening disease like malaria, dengue, plague, and chikungunya. Okay, so in this portion of the video, we have studied, I have told you that how communicable diseases spread. They could spread through air when someone sneezes or coughs or spits without covering his or her mouth properly with the handkerchief. So we should avoid such kind of activities. We should cover our mouth and nose properly with a clean handkerchief or tissue paper while coughing or sneezing. Then we have seen how the communicable disease is spread through direct contact that when a healthy person comes in contact with a sick person or his any of his personal belongings, then the chances are that he can also get infected by the germs. And the examples were chicken pox, measles, ringworm. Through infected food and water, yes, if the food and water it's not covered properly, it's not stored properly, it's not handled properly, then the chances are that it may get infected with germs. And these germs, the carrier of these germs could be the flies and the cockroaches. They can contaminate means to make dirty, to make unhealthy, to make infected. They can contaminate our food with these germs, and the diseases like cholera, typhoid, jaundice, and polio can spread through these means. And lastly, we have seen these small but very much harmful insects like this female Anopheles mosquito. It is the causal agent of malaria. Then this Aedes mosquito, it is the causal agent of dengue. And the bite of fleas that is carried by, that is spread over by the rats, it is the causal agent of this communicable disease, plague. Okay, so we should be very much careful. We should keep our body covered. We should put on full sleeve cotton clothes if it is available, or we should use mosquito repellents, creams. We should maintain proper neatness, cleanliness, and hygiene in and around ourselves, so that these insects couldn't breed over there. As we have seen over here also, that avoid stagnant water puddles around your house. If we will avoid the collection of water puddles around our house, then these mosquitoes will not be able to breed over there, and we could be healthy. So stay safe and stay healthy. This was the key point of today's topic. Okay, thank you for the class. See you soon with the next part of this chapter video. Thank you.